Hey everyone, it's Jason from Kinda Cool, and we are in Arlington, Texas for Retropalooza 2022. And this one's going to be a fun one because this time we're actually planning to meet up with some of my partners from the Retro Collective trade group that I've been part of for the past couple years. We're going to meet up with Josh from Play More Games and Jake from Juliet India Mobile. Now, the whole idea here was to get all of our handshakes on film for the first time, but what can I say? Technical mistakes happened. Either way, here's a picture to prove it all did take place. And this is a pretty big deal because while we three represent essentially the Texas chapter of the Retro Collective, there are a whole lot more in the group, and the dream is to someday get us all together at a festival someplace kind of equidistant for everybody in the country. We'll see if that happens. But for now, we're excited to have this happen, and here we are in line, and the lines weren't too bad, and here we see Josh trying to get ready for his lanyard, and the lanyard theme this year is actually Adventures in Babysitting, and they always try to use like a theme from pop culture, and that's this year, so maybe not the most exciting one, but hey. Here we are walking into the building for the first time and kind of getting our first opportunity to pan around and look around at all the vast amount of stuff that we're ready to peruse and possibly bring home. And these things, like I've mentioned in the past, these conventions are not just video game related, even though that's the primary focus. There's a lot of pop culture stuff that goes on as well, and obviously being in the Halloween season, we get a lot of horror type element going on here. We get some Friday the 13th and Jason type posters, and but you come here for the consoles and the games, don't you? And you're going to get a lot of that, so right out of the gate, we get hit with some consoles kind of thrown on a table, a lot of miscellaneous power adapters and zappers and controllers, so good stuff, good opportunity to try to find a deal. Here, Josh and I are looking at these repro cards, and repro cards that she made were actually really good because she built them off of original PCBs from the cartridges and then kind of just hacked them up from there to have the game they wanted. So a lot of Mega Man X2 and X3, some kind of high roller type cards, and I don't think anybody actually bought one, but we really did take a hard look at these, and they look cool. And obviously, the case design is really cool. So, pretty impressive stuff for repro, and I'm not anti-repro.
Oh, sorry.
So we'll just kind of pan around and look at some stuff here. And again, not everything here is game related. So we got some games and some board games and Pokemon cards and Magic the Gathering cards and all sorts of stuff that you can kind of look through. And there was quite a bit of stuff outside of games this year, even though it still was game heavy. Just kind of pan around and look at some of these booths. So we got Gremlins, maybe Stripe, or Adult Gremlin, maybe Stripe possibly, I don't know. A lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles stuff this year too, I noticed. That's not a bad thing. Some old Topps trading cards of different kinds, and Ninja Turtles, and Little Shop of Horrors, G.I. Joe, gotta have Batman. Force Effects Elite lightsabers. Come here for the gaming stuff though, right? So here's some more gaming stuff, some consoles, some nice looking control deck for 190, and old school Odyssey. Another case of Super Nintendo and miscellaneous games to pan through.
Does the Fatal Fury have the manual, the AES? No manual?
This guy's was interesting because he actually had an EverDrive for Super Nintendo for 150. You don't usually see these these types of events, but he had one. He also had a Fatal Fury for the AES I had my eye on, but ended up not pulling the trigger. There's another case here, some NES stuff. N64. Yeah, nothing too tremendously expensive or rare, but good stuff.
Oh man, what is that? Are they shrink wrap? I had that. I traded that tomorrow. Not too long ago. This is the reissue, I think, isn't it? Yeah. I traded a loose copy original too. There's some good like Genesis stuff over there.
Nobody's looking for this, are they?
I don't think so.
Curse of the Moon 2?
I have Curse of the Moon 2, yeah. This guy here, he's book 1 and 2.
Yep. Bro, what's that other reel about?
Special.
Here's a 3DO game that Jake had his eye on. Robinson's Requiem? I never heard of it. I don't think he had either.
Another one here.
It's interesting though.
The box Final Fight 2, guys.
So kind of panning through for some more games. This guy had a little bit more of a heavy hitter type quality game in his case here. Some factory sealed stuff. Scat. Horrible name, but rare game. And here's Jake taking a really close look at Snatcher on the Sega CD. Was he interested in buying it? I don't know, maybe, but we still got a good look at it. I think he said it was actually in pretty decent condition, a few light scratches, but I don't think it was anything terrible. But random shot of Josh shopping for games.
See anything good?
There's a Cristallis here. Were you looking for that? It's like $15. Or is that?
That's a good price for
I
that.
actually came home with this myself.
I might be able to hook you up. I gotta see how much I got left.
Yeah, so Sega also.
Look at that Zoda's Revenge box. You see
They
that?
did a release of their complete 2.
We're back.
Appreciate it.
Let's try that again.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
What'd you get, Josh?
Castlevania, the Dracula X Chronicles for PSP. Complete.
Nice.
This booth had the NES Lego set, which is pretty neat. Also an original Empire Strikes Back mint on card Luke X-Wing fighter pilot, which I would have appreciated in my older toy collecting days a whole lot. Evel Knievel.
I think Joel's got this Evil Knievel in his collection. I just got a video of it. I'm pretty sure he went back and bought. That's like one of his childhood toys.
I'd never seen this before. Castlevania Symphony of the Night handheld. I'm seeing more and more Garbage Pail Kid related things with these. And I believe these are called Muscle. They were called something else in Japan, but they're little pink wrestling figures, I believe, and random odds and ends and toys and knickknacks. Pretty neat stuff. Kind of a heavy hitter case right here with some really good stuff. High price
I saw
stuff.
that one on another booth too. Just not too long ago.
AES games, I'm always on the lookout for those, you know me.
But you just missed it. They just had it last weekend, I think.
Speaking of Neo Geo AES, look at this stack. And I think I actually recognize some of these from the last time I was at Classic Game Fest in Austin, so some of these made the trip here as well. This Last Resort really caught my eye, but I don't know about for 700 plus bucks, but it was complete with manual, nice condition. But I did come home with something Neo Geo related here, and this is a Metal Slug 2 for the MVS, and this is the complete kit. Now I don't know for sure whether the kit is legit or not, but it was only 100 bucks, so pretty good deal, and that was kind of my splurge item for the day today. This guy had some really high prices, but Jake's going to point out that he wanted me to show the Turok 3 for Jonathan here in a second, back in the day gaming.
Is it? Show me, where is it? What to it?
And we can't forget about Lyndon from Old School Games and Stories with his sharks, so
That's good
if you're out there, Game Shark, we were thinking of you. Another display table with some cool Famicom stuff. I've always really liked this version of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and I always wanted to get one. I didn't get one today, but eventually I will. I just love that artwork. Every time I saw something Famicom, I'd have to nudge Josh and play more games and go, hey, check it out. We all know he's a big Famicom, Super Famicom fan.
Oh, Ghouls and Ghosts. I've already got that, but
How's the case look on that one?
this case is great.
Oh, that is good. Wow. Okay, how much do they want?
I don't see the
Doesn't say.
price.
Here's some more over here, dude. Check it out. Josh, you want?
See
Ask
Ninja
for-
Gaiden?
I'll take a
What
look.
I'm looking for.
There's Golden Axe. Oh, the ninja got closed.
Yeah. There's art. Ah, they do have it. Ooh, Ninja Gaiden 120. Well, I think I'll pass.
You found it.
Yeah, I found it. Not
There's
necessarily.
Rastin. That's a cool game. I like that one.
Lots of really cool Sega box stuff here in this one.
It's like gold.
Master System 2 looked really good. And I have been on the hunt for one of those, but again, didn't come home today. Cash only. Believe that. Now there was an arcade here, and we couldn't pass up the opportunity to give it a go. So Josh and I are here lined up playing some Street Fighter 2, but I don't know what was going on with this version. It was some sort of ROM hack or something, where Blanca was throwing sonic booms and Chun-Li were fireballs were coming out from her kicks. It was so weird we couldn't really actually get it played correctly. I couldn't figure it out. Here's Jake taking Neo Geo for a spin, taking the Big Red for a spin. Looks like Metal Slug. And he said that his game was some sort of ROM hack version too. So I don't know what was going on with the arcade provider here, but definitely was their forte to have their arcade systems hacked up a little bit. And I don't know if it was in a good way. It's not for the Street Fighter for sure. Kind of pan around and show you what they had on display here from an arcade standpoint. Tra, that's an interesting one. Dark Legacy. Gotta have a Ninja Turtles 4-player. Pretty cool looking Altered Beast. And of course, Donkey Kong Jr. and Donkey Kong. Popeye. Obligatory Miss Pac-Man, you gotta have that one. And you have to have some cosplay at your Retropalooza. And they had some in fact, so here we go. These guys are really cool too, they're really awesome about us. Taking photos and video.
Like, I think I'm off camera.
Obviously a talented lady. And this next one's pretty neat. From They Live.
I mean,
Impressive stuff.
there was salad greens. As soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, that's what that was.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
It's like some Silent Hill prop, I believe.
and then the helmet is.
Explaining to her how it was made and how she can get one just like it.
And it's not petty at all.
My wife would say, it's okay. I love it.
Hey there.
Jack Skellington, and this guy was actually on stilts later, but not right here.
We started this duck club.
Josh looks on in bewildered amazement, no doubt.
Okay.
Now this booth is Sketchy Glass, and I bought from them several times in the past. They have some really cool glasses, and they can actually make custom designs as well. And if anybody looks closely at my retro gaming roundtable videos, and if I'm drinking out of a glass, it's almost always a Sketchy Glass glass. If you got an eagle eye, you could probably spot one. But yeah, these are neat. And now, dishwasher safe. I wish mine were. So look out, WADA and VGA. There's a new grading company on the scene. Culture Grading Company? CGC? I've never heard of it. Relatively new, I believe. And I know this is a divisive topic. Not saying whether I love it, hate it, or otherwise, but if you wanted to get your stuff graded here, you could drop it off here at this register and actually pay here. And I think they said the turnaround's about 30 days right now. We've heard that before, though, right? Interesting. So I'll just kind of give a final walkthrough here of multiple different booths as we kind of leave the place. But overall, really impressed this year with Retropalooza. I would say that it's probably a little bit smaller than Classic Game Fest, which actually is interesting because I used to think it was the other way around, but it, by no means would I consider it small. And it was definitely a good time, and I really appreciate both Jake and Josh coming out because, man, I had such a blast. I probably had as much fun at this one as I have ever had at one of these. And just because it was so cool to be able to bounce ideas off each other and purchase, ideas off each other. It was just takes the whole experience to a new level, and I really hope that the next one I'll have an opportunity to hang out with somebody as well. So if we have one in Austin, I openly invited Jake and Josh to come down and meet me in Austin for a Classic Game Fest, which I believe is the next one. I think we may have a Retropalooza in Houston next, which if we do, we may have to tag in Micro Wolverine from the Houston area. Take a look at maybe all of us meeting up in Houston, possibly. I don't know, but again, the dream is always to get the entire Retro Collective together somewhere in the U.S. for one of these types of events and kind of meet each other and kind of do this on an even grander scale. We can dream, right? It's a possibility. I'm not giving up on it. So you can take your final look at the booths here, and now we're not really done because we're going to move on and get something to eat, and we're all getting a little hungry by now, and so We're about to pick the base of operations up from here and move it to another location. So we're going to meet up at Cidercade in Arlington, Texas, not too far away from where we were. And by this time I had the camera put down. I was just ready to kind of just hang out and chill. But there were some photos taken, so you kind of see us all hanging out and grabbing a drink and some food and playing some games too. And in fact, Josh and I got an opportunity to rematch each other on a proper Street Fighter 2 machine. This one actually worked pretty well, and we had a much better time here than we did on the last one. So good stuff. And I'm not going to tell you who won. I'm just going to say it was definitely a close match. So here we are, hanging out and chilling again, and this place is great, man. It was really a lot of fun, and we had to close out the day with some 4-player action. We were looking at Ninja Turtles, but man, it was crowded, man. It kept having kids on it, so what are you gonna do? So we went back to, since we're old school anyway, we did a 4-player Vendetta. Vendetta was the sequel to Crime Fighters, which is kind of the precursor to all these types of games, the very first Konami 4-player beat-em-ups. And I gotta say, I hadn't played this one since I played it originally in the arcades, and it's actually held up pretty well. It's aged pretty well. Had a good time with this, and I had a good time overall. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, guys. Thanks for watching this, and check me out next time. I'll show you something kind of cool.